Hey everyone, welcome back to Sergeant Major Sit Rep. Going to get right into it today with a show I was told not to do. Actually warned, hey, you might not want to look at this information. Probably just leave this alone. I don't see it a lot in the mainstream media. You see a little hit here and there on finding the bodies, but still, it's not in the mainstream the way it should be. So let's get right into it. We're talking the missing and dead scientist. Now, I got copious notes here. I've done quite a bit of research on this, and I'm going to have to use the notes because there's so much there. But if anyone out there is looking at this in depth, if you want to tag me or hit me on Twitter, X, what have you, Facebook, this platform here, let me know. I'll send you what I've got because I've got some other stuff that I haven't confirmed. I don't want to put out anything that is not confirmed. I try to stay factual and relevant here. And unless I can 100% verify it, I don't put it out. And if I do put something out that's unverified, I always give you the lowdown on what I've got, how I've got it, and why I can't confirm it. And maybe those of you in the public out there that like to do this kind of stuff but don't like to get on the airwaves can help me out a little bit. So again, the missing and dead scientist that has been going on here for a while, and I want to talk about the common denominators. I want to talk about what they did, what they do, how this all kind of comes into play, and how it tracks back to the Biden administration. And there's no strong links there, but there was a DARPA program, and that's the only thing that I can find that kind of links these people together, other than their actual work. But one government program they all had a little bit of involvement in, and I looked at this program and I'm like, this is every country's working on this. It's not a secret. It's nothing scary. But let me lay it all out for you. You decide what you think, and we'll go from there. And I'd really love some feedback on this one because it's been a challenge. So what we know, we've had several verified cases starting last year. The 9 publicly reported ones. There's a couple others that haven't made it into the public because there are some circumstances there that I don't want to get into. They are probably working a program somewhere, and that's them. They do their thing, and that's fine. But the strongest cases we have: Monica Riza, Stephen Garcia, General William Neal McCaskill. They're still reported missing. Now, Melissa Casasis, if that's how you pronounce it, she was found deceased in the woods on the 28th. And there was a gun present, but we haven't heard a cause of death. None of the circumstances about her death have really been put out. But the thing that they kind of all have together, surveillance video shows them happy, go lucky, walking away, doing normal everyday tasks, and then poof, they're missing. Firearms have been found, with some of them found to be missing, but commonly ID, wallet, purses, those things are left behind. So to me, that sounds like a snatch. I don't know. It's too much, and there's too much unverified. I don't want to make any assumptions that I can't track back to something fact based. But let's talk out each one here. Monica Riza. She's a materials scientist, metallurgy, light metals, armored metals, those kind of things for the defense industry. She went missing while hiking in the Angeles National Forest near Mount Waterman. She was described her as an at-risk missing person. She also worked for NASA. This one's unresolved. This is just one went hiking, walked away. Now we have that a lot in Arizona, especially out where I live towards Grand Canyon. We get these folks that come out from all over the place, mainly California, and they think they're going to go out with a bottle of water and hike around a little bit, and don't realize how difficult the terrain is, don't realize how little time it takes to get lost and get disoriented. We always find the cars. We got about 80 people missing right now in this county. We find the cars, we find clothing. You might find a shoe or a foot or something, miles away from the scene after animals have taken it off. But it takes a while to find these folks because when they go missing out in the desert, it's a thing. So Melissa Casasis, she was found dead, like I said, on the 28th. Now, she worked at the Los Alamos National Laboratory. Can't verify her role. I know she worked on a couple of different projects, but her exact role, no one has really put out. She's a scientist. She does some nuclear and some other things, but not found out exactly what she does. So that one's going to be an unresolved death at this point. Joshua LeBlanc, 22 July, NASA electrical engineer, nuclear propulsion. Verified death reported as a crash. Sensitive project claims. We need some stronger verification on this. His obituary confirms NASA career at death, Walker County, Alabama, on July 22nd, died in a vehicle crash after reported missing. More shaky stuff there. Stephen Garcia also worked at the Kansas City lab, that's the counterpart to the Los Alamos lab, nuclear contractor weapons component facility. New Mexico DPS listed Garcia missing from Albuquerque. He was also linked to the Kansas City lab, still unresolved. Jason R. Thomas, missing, chemical biologist. Death is verified. No public foul play is indicated, but also had ties to the Los Alamos lab and the U.S. nuclear program. Nuno Lauricio was shot and killed, verified homicide, MIT plasma fusion and nuclear scientist. Also had ties to both labs. We have Carl Gromer, dead, verified homicide. Records point to local criminal case, just bad luck. But also, he's an astrophysicist, NASA employee, dark matter researcher, 67 years old, been in the business a long time, high security clearance, nothing to report out of the ordinary, just a working scientist, has been in many fields. This chosen field led to a homicide. Now, this one here is the only one that really made a lot of national news. And this is General McCaslin. ABC News reported him last seen in Albuquerque, February 27th. FBI was assisting in a local search. He's still unresolved. Now, this guy's a UAP investigator, but he also worked at the lab. So, got a background in aerospace engineering, UAP research, and acquisitions. David Wilcock, suicide, reported by authorities. UFO paranormal all media figure, not a scientist. Boulder County released an incident timeline, said it was discussed. He had some health and financial concerns and later died. But when you do the background on Mr. Wilcock, he has a lot of contact with Los Alamos. And, if you're just a UFO paranormal researcher and you're kind of on the fringes of what's accepted science and what's not accepted, you shouldn't have that many phone calls to both our national labs' internal numbers. I mean, if you got the 800 number and you're dialing 0 and asking to talk to somebody, it's one thing. But internal numbers with the last 4 going to someone's desk, kind of suspicious. So you have a legitimate cluster that has not been verified in any operational pattern. Like I said, the only thing that I can find is the DARPA space project, and that's making a nuclear fuel for a rocket that will orbit the Earth and stay in space for quite some time. Our country's that's not a secret. DARPA's been working on this for years, Chinese, Russian, everybody's been working on this. So not a secret program. Matter of fact, you can look it up on DARPA's website. but most of these folks had something to do with that. So, what gaps do we have right now? The gaps seem to be final cause and manner of death, um, what their actual clearance level was, and what they did at these facilities, medical conditions, if any, and whatever the agencies, the FBI, DOE, NASA, um, all the agencies, what they've come up with. What are they doing? I know there's a congressional hearing on it, but congressional hearings generally result in nothing, absolutely nothing, as we've seen pretty much for our entire lifetimes. Go all the way back to the Kennedy assassination. All it proved that Kennedy's dead. Smoking gun, never found, but it was found, but we don't know if it was found. The grassy knoll, that's what committees produce. More bullshit. So I took this into a next step. And, like every investigator would do, um, tried to find the common denominator. And that's what I'm sure they're doing. And they've probably got a lot more than I have because all I have is open source information, very little contact with anybody on this. No one will talk about it. None of my contacts, nobody in DC, nobody in the military, nobody will talk to me about this. They're like, man, just leave this one alone. And that, of course, makes me want to do it more. But defense, nuclear, aerospace, and sensitive research, all security clearance. Missing person scenarios, 5 of the 9 had personal items left behind. So who doesn't travel with their wallet and ID, money, phone? That's odd stuff right there. But 5 of the 9, is that a pattern? Is it establishing a partial pattern, or is it just bad luck? I can't answer that at this time. So, like I said, it's drawn some formal congressional attention, but it hasn't really got the public attention yet, and I don't know why, because the crux of what I'm going to talk about today should make you think. Now, as many jobs I had in the Army, started off as a door kicker, military police, um, in a command sergeant major role. You're really just an admin guy. You're nuts and bolts admin and leadership, and of course advising the commander. But in that window prior to that, working human intel, um, I have some questions. Other people have questions, and the Five Eyes report that just came out should put a little bit of a spotlight on why these questions are relevant. So after this break, we will talk about that. But right now, what we want to talk about is what I do every week is my gold ad. Now, why do I do this every week? Because it is still relevant, still something you need to do. And I'm going to go through it. I'll make the best case I can. But you see what's going on in the world, folks. This is the real deal. So, did you sleep last night? Did you worry about bills? What's going on in your life? Well, we know what's going on. Groceries are up twice as much as they used to be. Our retirement, most of us in that retirement window. I've already retired once. I've got a second one coming up. I'm pretty damn close to Social Security age. Is it going to be there? Where's all this stuff that we worked for our entire life? Is it going to be there when we need it? Well, we don't know. That's why we don't sleep at night. So this is not imaginary that everything is more expensive now. The money we saved up till about 2020, 2021 has already lost 22% of its value. That's not an opinion. It's documented fact. And there's no signs of this quitting. It's going to continue to happen no matter how good the economy is or how bad the economy is. This is going to happen because it's everything's tied to the dollar. So you think about, well, wait a minute, I have rights. What's the Constitution actually protect? Well, it protects the right to my property, the fruits of my labor, everything that I've earned, and my right to it. But what it can't protect you from is inflation. And that is slowly robbing us, very quietly, very much behind the scenes, robbing us of everything we've worked to build. Most retirement accounts, actually, all of the retirement accounts are 100% tied to the stock market. When it drops, your savings drops. You're exposed. But there's something you can do to defend against that and save what you built. Diversify your position. Your portfolio needs to be diversified with physical gold, real gold, the kind that doesn't care about the stock market, doesn't care about Washington and what it does to the dollar, doesn't care about Chinese manipulation of the dollar. It cares about itself. And that's Augusta Precious Metals, leader in the field. They've been helping thousands of Americans protect their retirement for over a decade. A plus rating with the BBB. They'll walk you through everything. Three simple steps. It stays in your IRA. It stays in your 401k. No tax penalties. That's the only way to go. To get Augusta's free information gold guide, go to johnsgold.com or text John 35052. Bottom line, it isn't about gold as investment. It's about peace of mind and protecting everything that you've worked hard your entire life to save. One customer put it well, thanks to Augusta, I feel confident about retirement. I finally have peace of mind without having to worry about my savings. Augusta Precious Metals. They are the absolute best at what they do. That's why I recommend them. Go to johnsgold.com or text John 35052. Understand your options, and they'll help you make that decision. Get the free gold guide, listen to what they have to say, and make that decision then. You'll be impressed. You're going to want to do it. Okay. Back to the nitty gritty here. So, what do we have that's verified? Well, we know the 9 people are missing. We know that there are ties to our defense programs, Los Alamos, and the Kansas City lab. We have unconfirmed public reporting that these individuals had access to U.S. sensitive scientific information. Well, is it really unconfirmed public? You got to have a clearance to get in the lab. It goes without saying, they have a clearance. What they need to know, what they're read into, that's what we don't know. Most of the cases settle around New Mexico. So, New Mexico area being the common denominator, the labs being the common denominator, aerospace industry, metallurgy, nuclear propulsion, that's kind of the crux of what they do. And is it a real pattern? But I can't call it a pattern because a pattern would repeat itself multiple times. And we've only seen this in 5 of the 9 cases. So not a real pattern yet, but age, I looked at age between age 45 and 78. So nothing really crazy there. Firearms present or missing. Garcia, Casas, and McCaslin all had firearms missing. Only McCaslin and Wilcock were dealing with the UAP, UFO narrative link, but they were involved in other things as well. So, nuclear defense corridor, you got 4 of them. Casas, Chavez, Garcia, and McCaslin were all in the nuclear defense corridor. And then you add the metallurgy and the other things in there. So it's all the same body of work. And that's what I was trying to glean from the DARPA project. All these things support the DARPA project, but this DARPA project is not secret. There are secret aspects to it, but you can look it up right now in the public space. And it's something, like I said numerous times already today, that many countries have been working on this. They've been working on this for as long as I can remember. Did they have a breakthrough? Did they not have a breakthrough? What's going on with this? So that's one of the things. Now, the nuclear weapons infrastructure is a place where plasma fusion science and space research all come together. We've got several colleges working on this. That seems to me to be the strongest link, but yet not a pattern. So hopefully the feds get down to that part. Now, I want to talk about the Five Eyes warnings and how it may apply to this. Now, Five Eyes, these are nations that we all share intel back and forth, and no one really hears much of these folks. Internally, we would get messages from them when it was relevant to our area of the world that we were working. But the US, UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand are part of this network. So these are all NATO friendly. And when they put this information out, it typically goes to top level, NATO only. But what we have now, we have a threat model. And this is, I don't want to talk fieldcraft, but I want to talk when you observe a threat, you model that threat to see if it is an existing threat, a new threat, continuation of a threat into a different vector. But these are the same things that they're warning about that I've warned about here, that I've fought against in the House, identified with ASU and some other colleges, um, even as much as local individuals at their job. So their warning is that China is infiltrating some of our most secure networks uh, by human intelligence. We know we can lock down computer systems. Physical access is access, no matter how well the machine is protected. If you have physical access, you have access. So that's one vector. But what they've been doing lately is, I don't want to talk data centers, but I want to talk uh, narrative and marketing around data centers. So the Chinese have spent close to $1 billion in marketing against data centers because they know uh, we can dominate that space. We take over AI, it's game over for them. So you have people on both sides of the aisle, left and right, condemning data centers. Well, they take 1 million gallons of water a year or a day. They take all the power. We don't have power for them. That's all bullshit. So modern data centers, they can be fired by micro nukes, like the Slaughter's micro nuke. 5 megawatt micro nuke works, and they're closed loop antifreeze systems, so they're not taking any water. But kind of the same vector. Now we're going after, or China is going after, the human model, and this is pretty much the same model that we use. I won't expose too much of it, but I'll give you the clues that you need. But what they're doing is they're hitting LinkedIn, Indeed, Upwork, all the networks, and they're looking to hire recruiters, consultants, think tank staff, representatives, um, to legitimate looking companies. Now they've done this for quite some time, and what they will do, they will offer payment through PayPal, Western Union, crypto, or something similar, um, for innocuous papers. Hey, we want to know everything about the Edison light bulb. Well, I can do that. That doesn't violate any policies or expose any known secure data. So I'll write a white paper on Edison light bulbs, and I'll get paid a couple $100. But what they're doing is they're recruiting. So first, they will spot and identify people with useful or useful adjacent information. Somebody that's on the fringes of government, military defense, foreign policy, science, tech, research, whatever. Then they will assess. They'll use open source profiles, your resume from LinkedIn, networks, clearance indicator networks, military history. And once they spot you, then they assess what your capabilities are. Then they'll do an approach. They'll have a fake recruiter send you a link for a job, decent pay for little work, something that's in your wheelhouse. Like I said, very innocuous um, draft report or research paper on something, or an analysis on someone else's research paper. And they will have you write policy memos, tech reviews, what have you. And they will do that for quite some time, and you'll make a little bit of money at this. But they'll seemingly ask harmless, non public um, questions, and then they will escalate. Once they get the hook in you, then they escalate, and then it's for more sensitive material, names, documents, organizational charts, these things that may be publicly available if you're in the field, but hard to find if you're not, and very hard to get if you're Chinese national. So this is a mass digital human operation by China, and this is what the Five Eyes are warning about. Now, we're fighting with China in the aerospace, space, nuclear, and data. What better people to recruit than these scientists? Not saying that any of these five or 9 individuals fell to that. They probably did not, but people adjacent to them. Maybe China is trying to identify our top people to slow the progress. So, who knows what's going on? But what caught my attention, and the mass media and public didn't catch it, uh, how many have heard statements from the Five outside of the military or intelligence? How many of you have heard of Five Eyes, let alone Five Eyes making a public statement? So I pulled the last several statements that were issued to the public: 18 September 24, 28 October 24, 23 April 26, and now the 3 June. That is the last 5 statements made publicly by the Five Eyes in the last 9 years. So that should tell you something right there. And every single one of these are China related. So the uptick in Chinese activity on the US and our data and our research information has been on the uptick since 18, but really ramped up in 24, really ramped up under the Biden administration because they were getting away with it. Biden wasn't challenging this. We weren't turning over criminal referrals. We weren't arresting people. We just had the Chinese spy, and yeah, I'll call her that, Chinese spy, because she pled guilty as a mayor in California. We had another Chinese citizen going to college, and he brings bioweapons in, and he was arrested, and he's going to plead guilty, it looks like. But they are ramping up their efforts, and our eyes are closed to this. The general public's eyes are closed to this. I had the ASU committee hearing where we know ASU is working with China on some suspect programs, and we brought this to the attention. Of course, ASU got mad. We got the letters back and forth and all the nonsense, but yet they still want more money, and they want to continue to partner with China because they get millions of dollars from China. Now, the law says they're not supposed to work any space or technology or military programs. You want to work soybean crop yield production's fine, but you work in these industries where we have missing scientists with our colleges. That's not a thing. Now, the June 3rd warning was that Chinese military intelligence is using LinkedIn, Indeed, Upwork, and fake recruitment to target people with access to sensitive information. Now, this is FBI, MI5, ASO, SCIS. This is the best of the best in intelligence collection. And they're seeing this over the entire spectrum. And they saw enough of it, and obviously enough cases of it, to make a public warning. Does it tip our hand to China? Well, China knows that we know. They know that we know. Everybody knows, but the public really doesn't know. So this last public statement is pretty telling. Now, the one prior to that in April was of networks, covert networks being compromised by China. So they're hitting us on the IT platforms. Now they're going after individuals to glean human information and glean what they know, and putting money out to destroy the narrative on data centers as being something that's needed. And they're doing this under the wire. The general public is not paying attention. That's why I'm bringing you this today. We need to start paying attention. For those of you out there that think that we have lost to China, well, you're a quitter. We have the capability, the technology. We just need the will. The Trump administration has the will. The Biden administration did not. The Obama administration did not. But right now, we are primed with Trump in the office. If we hold the midterms, we are primed to set China back. Their economy is garbage. Their economy is basically dependent on the United States. The Strait of Hormuz being closed not only hurts Iran, but it hurts China. It hurts Russia. It hurts that end of the world. Are we feeling a little pain from it? Well, yeah, we are. It's a global market. It is what it is. I would rather pay $5 gas. And by the way, the Democrats didn't say a word about the gas prices under Biden, and we haven't even reached that level yet. We're still under the Biden gas prices, and Democrats, well, this illegal war, all the nonsense. But Folks, I'm here today to tell you to wake up. Wake up that the China threat is real. It is here. They are invading our IT networks. We have the reports. They are seeking human sources to gather reports that they can't get from our IT systems. And just on the fringes of this, we got 9 missing scientists working programs that China is in a race with us to win. So, is it a conspiracy theory kind of stuff? Yeah, it sounds like it a little bit, but these are common denominators. You cannot put them aside. Can I link them 100% to this is why it's happening? Of course not. I don't have the resources available to me. I hope our federal government is working on this in a manner that they should. It should be top priority, but it's not getting the exposure it needs. So please repost this, retweet it, talk about it. Let's get this out into the public domain. Make sure people are talking about this, because the more people know, more people will not fall prey to this. And let's protect America. Let's protect American data. We're working very diligently in the rare earth mineral sector to control the supply chain and take it back over from China. And once we do that, then everything else falls in place. But until we get our act together, until the federal government actually moves on this, which they are, but we all know the federal government moves at the speed of molasses in wintertime. It's not fast. Even when it's supposed to be a fast program, it can take years to get things rolling. So let's get it out in the public domain. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure that China knows the public is not oblivious to what they're doing. And let's win this war against China. In the meantime, train like they hate you, because they do. Have a great day.